Yo, what is going on, everybody, and welcome back to 365 Analytics. And today, week four pickups. Week four pickums, we are here. It has been a pretty bad season for pickums and through the first 3 weeks, so it's time to get right. We have to get right now, and yeah, we're just gonna hop right into it. If you guys enjoy, please like, subscribe, it'd be greatly appreciated. There's a lot to talk about this week. It's been a pretty crazy season so far, and yeah, as you can see. This past week in week three, I went 7-9, and my overall record 24-24. Pretty bad. We got to get that right. 24-24. You want to be above 500 in game picks at the minimum. And the thing that makes me the most mad is I am 0-3 on my locks and my upsets. I am 0-3 on both of those picks of the week. I am 0-3 on my locks and my upsets. I don't think I've ever started that bad on my locks and my upsets yet. So we can't start 0-4 in both those categories, and we gotta be above 500. 24-24 is not where we want to be. But yeah, let's hop right into it. And tomorrow night, we have an NFC East rivalry. We have the Cowboys and the Giants, the classic NFC East game. The Cowboys coming off a loss to the Baltimore Ravens in AT&T Stadium, coming off a loss where they almost came back. The Ravens almost choked, but that did not happen. And the Giants coming off a game where they beat the Cleveland Browns. They beat them pretty good. They only beat them by 6 points on the scoreboard, but they had them in command all game. Malik Neighbors has had back-to-back very, very good games, and he looks to be on pace to be that star and that guy. Daniel Jones has been a little bit better, and the Giants have looked solid in the past few weeks now. Their kicker Graham Gano, they would be 2-0 right now possibly if Graham Gano did not go to IR. Their kicker now is Greg Joseph. But in this game, Thursday night football, Thursday night football usually doesn't give us a good game, and I hope it does. But I'm gonna pick the Dallas Cowboys. I'm gonna pick the Dallas Cowboys. That's besides the point. Dallas Cowboys are my gonna be my pick. I have a feeling that because it's Thursday night football, it's going to be a blowout. I hope that's not the case. So I think I was size 12. Oh, I think that's what I do. I hope that's not the case. I think it might be a blowout. Thursday night football has not gave us good games so far this season. They've been pretty bad. The Jets beat the brakes off the Patriots last week. Before that, Buffalo absolutely blew them out. Amazon Prime Thursday night football has not been good so far, but in this game, I am picking the Dallas Cowboys, and I think they get back on track to go 2-2. Starting off with the Sunday games, we have a good NFC South tilt. A good NFC South tilt. We have the Saints and the Falcons in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. The Saints coming off a loss, 15-12 loss to Philadelphia, or was it 15-13? It was something like that, low scoring, close game. Saints offense did not look like they did in the first 2 weeks. Derek Carr, he was fine. He threw the game losing pick, but he was fine. Philadelphia beat him with no AJ Brown and with Devontae Smith going down in the fourth quarter. Dallas Goedert had a nice game there. As for Atlanta, they lost to the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. They put up a good fight, but then Raheem Morris, the outside handoff to Bijan, and then they ended up losing that game. As for the Falcons, they are 1-2. As for the Saints, they are 2-1. In Atlanta, I think the Falcons get back on track. I think they have looked good, even with the loss to Kansas City. I think they looked pretty solid in that game, and they put up a good showing against the defending champs. So there, I will take the Atlanta Falcons. Even before the Philly game, I predict that the Saints were kind of fraudulent. Not fraudulent, but I wasn't fully bought into the system of the Saints yet. I really wasn't fully bought in, and I did not think after week two, I did not think the Saints would be this playoff team that they looked like, and I still don't think they are going to be. So, yeah, I'm going to take the Atlanta Falcons at home in this game. And then We have my Cincinnati Bengals versus the Carolina Panthers. Let's talk about the Panthers first. The Carolina Panthers. Andy Dalton, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns last week. A very good game. The benching of Bryce Young. It looks like Bryce Young is the problem because they played well. They beat the brakes off the Raiders. Chuba Hubbard, amazing game. Adam Thielen to IR. He will not play in this game. Jordan Fuller to IR. He will not play in this game. Damian Lewis will not play in this game. Panthers are dealing with some injuries. Panthers, they looked well last week. Dalton looked good. And I'm scared what he's going to do to the Bengals D. As for the Bengals, you didn't see my video yesterday. I am ultra disappointed. I'm ultra disappointed in these guys. The defense looked absolutely horrible. Burrow was absolutely amazing. Chase was amazing. It's Higgins' second game back now in Carolina. This might be the last time I say this, but I think in this game, who knows what the outlook for the season looks like, but I think in this game, the Bengals get right. I think we get right. I think I think the entire locker room knows they need this. The entire locker room knows they need this for not only for the team, but for the fan base, for the city, for the outlook on this entire team, for the front office, for the coaching staff, for the players themselves. Everyone and their mother knows the Bengals need this game, and I think they finally get it. This might be the if they drop this game, that might be the last time I say that. Might be the last time I pick the Bengals all year if they drop this game. But I think they finally get it done, and I think they win this. I'm gonna say it. I think they finally win. I think we finally win, and I think we improve to 1-3 with a Till versus Baltimore coming up next week. I think we finally do it. Next, Rams Bears. This is an interesting game. I was back and forth on this one. I was really back and forth on this one. For the Rams, they upset the San Francisco 49ers last week. A comeback win. Sean McVay, man, I don't know what that guy. That guy is crazy. One of the best head coaches in the league. He can win with whatever roster he has. He has injuries to the wide receiver position, injuries on the defense, injuries to John Johnson, injuries to the O line, and he still beat the San Francisco 49ers. Given the San Francisco 49ers are dealing with injuries at the same time, but they got the win. For the Bears, the offense with Shane Waldron. Shane Waldron has been absolutely horrible calling plays so far. And the Bears offense has not looked like what I wanted to see. But they are on par to get Keenan Allen back this week. The Bears offense has not looked good though. Caleb Williams has been pretty bad to start his career, and they have not looked very good. Given that, I'm gonna take this was a tough one. This was a really tough one because in Chicago, in Soldier Field, I want to take the Bears. But the Bears have not shown me anything to want to pick them yet. Their only win was a comeback win against Tennessee where their defense led the charge. I'm going to take the Los Angeles Rams. And it's tempting to take the Bears in Soldier Field, but I'm going to take the more experienced head coach. I'm going to take the more experienced team. I'm going to take the more experienced quarterback. And I think that the Rams get it done. And Sean McVay brings the team to 2-2 despite all the injuries they're dealing with. And then we have possibly, is this the game of the 1 p.m. window? Most likely. This is probably, I like this game better than Philly Tampa Bay. So I think this is the game of the 1 p.m. window. We have the Vikings and the Packers. The Vikings are 3-0 with Sam Darnold absolutely playing. Sam Darnold, in my eyes, either Sam Darnold or Josh Allen, the MVP frontrunner through 3 weeks. The MVP favorite through 3 weeks is Sam Darnold, in my eyes. The Vikings playing some good ball. Jonathan Grenard and Patrick Jones, both rushing the passer well off the edge. Aaron Jones playing some good football. Justin Jefferson obviously playing good football. The Vikings look good. As for Green Bay, Malik Willis won 2 straight. Who knows who the quarterback is this week? I'll tell you this, Jordan Love looks like he tested it out last week. He missed the game, but he almost could have made it back last week. I think Jordan Love will return this week. I will tell you this: if Jordan Love plays this week, I'm taking Green Bay to go to 3-1 and knock off the Vikings and give them their first loss. If it's Malik Willis under center, I'm going to switch to the Vikings. But my expectation is that Jordan Love's the quarterback this weekend. That's my expectation. My expectation is that Jordan Love is the starting quarterback for the Green Bay Packers on Sunday. If he is not, I will switch my pick to the Minnesota Vikings. But as for right now, Green Bay's my pick. That is subject to change, though. Obviously, as I said, if Jordan Love doesn't play, I'm picking the Vikings. But I think Green Bay knocks him off to Jordan Love. As for the Jacksonville game, I don't even want to talk about this game. Jacksonville has disappointed me so much. I picked Jacksonville last week as my upset of the week pick. They got the brakes beat off of them 47 to 10. I don't even want to talk about that upset pick. I talked about their record against Josh Allen. I talked about that. I have lost every single ounce of confidence I had in the Jacksonville Jaguars. 10 points against the Buffalo Bills. Houston at home. Who knows if Mixon suits up? He's still dealing with an injury. I don't think I don't think he's gonna suit up. This is a game at home. This is a game I shouldn't overthink. I'm not gonna pick the upset this time. I am done believing in the Jacksonville Jaguars. I picked him against Cleveland. I picked him against Buffalo, and I am not picking him anymore. I picked him to win the AFC South for crying out loud. And they have Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence looks like a fraud. After getting the big deal, the big extension, one of the highest paid in the league. He looks like a fraud. He has not won a start since mid to late last season, and it shows. The Jaguars look absolutely horrible right now. Give me the Houston Texans. Nothing else to say. And then we have a good game, or I wouldn't say good game, but a pretty moderate game that could go either way. The 3-0 Steelers versus the 1-2 Indianapolis Colts. The Steelers, Justin Fields leading the charge still. There's no reason to take Justin Fields out as he is 3-0. Russell Wilson still hurt, technically still hurt, but I don't think he'd be the starter anyway right now. To be honest with you, Fields looks good. Indianapolis, Jonathan Taylor, 100 plus yard game last week with 2 tuds. I don't know. This game's tough. I was thinking about this game for a while too. In Indianapolis gives me the thought the 3-0 Steelers look like a fraud 3-0 team to me. They've been playing really good defense. I will give the Steelers every ounce of credit for that. They are playing really good defense. Offense still looks sketchy to me. Still looks sketchy. Fields has been playing fine. Last weekend's the Chargers probably his best game. He's been playing fine. He hasn't been lights out. He's been fine. I'm gonna take Indianapolis. I'm gonna take the home team. I'm gonna take the home team, the Indianapolis Colts, to get it done. Did not mean to use that color blue. I'm gonna take the Colts to get it done, and I think that they go to 2-2 and give the Steelers their first loss. We'll see how Fields plays in this game, and if they decide to go to Russell Wilson if he gets healthy. And then we have Broncos Jets. I feel like the Broncos and Jets play every single year, most likely because they're both last in the division every single year. So that's why I feel like we've seen Broncos Jets for like the past 5 or 6 years in a row. It feels like probably not, but I feel like we've seen Broncos Jets a lot in the past few years. Yeah, I'm not gonna overthink this one. I mean, Denver won last week, a big upset win. Tampa Bay was my lock of the week over Denver. A big upset win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bo Nix had the best game of his career so far. He was fine. He didn't throw a touchdown pass, but he was fine. I mean, Denver looked good, but I don't think they're going to beat Aaron Rodgers in Aaron Rodgers' home stadium. I just don't see that happening. So I'm going to take the Jets here, and I'm just not going to overthink it. That's really what it is. Brees Hall and Braylon Allen look like an absolute dirty running back duo right now. Aaron Rodgers played the best game of his Jets career against New England last week. The defense looks good. Will McDonald's playing some good football off the edge. I mean, Jermaine Johnson did tear his Achilles. I think it was Achilles. I think it was Achilles. He's out for the year. But who knows? Who knows if Hassan Reddick shows up this year at all? Who knows if he shows up this year? But Jets playing some good ball. I think they go to 3-1. And I'm even if they go to 3-1 here, I don't know if I'm fully bought in, but I think they get it done and they go to 3-1. Philly Tampa. And Brady and Burkdart on the call. Philadelphia, Jalen Hurts, potentially with no AJ Brown or Devontae Smith. AJ Brown probably gonna miss another week. Devontae Smith took a big hit from Brian Brzee this past week, and I think they deem it a concussion. I don't know. It was a big hit. He went down, and he looked shaken up. So I expect Devontae Smith to miss this week. So that leaves the Eagles with Jahan Dotson, Johnny Wilson, and I guess Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert, I picked him up in fantasy. I plan to start him because he's going to be the number one target this week. Jahan Dawson is kind of disappointed in his first few games as an Eagle. Hasn't really done much. Johnny Wilson made a big catch last week. The rookie from Florida State, tall receiver, could be a tight end. Obviously, Saquon, the leader in the league in rushing yards, playing some good ball. Tampa Bay got upset last week by the Denver Broncos. Did not play well at all. Bucky Irving looks very good though. Bucky Irving looks like very good. He looks better than Rashad White. Bucky Irving looks much better than Rashad White right now. That looks like a good running back duo as well. I don't know. I don't know. This is gonna be a close game. This is gonna be like a 20. This is gonna be like this is gonna be like identical to the Saints game last week. If you asked me, this is gonna be like a 17-13 game. I think in my eyes, and I'm gonna take Philly to pull it out. I'm gonna take Philly to get it done. I mean, everyone likes the Tampa matchup against Philly because this is a wild card rematch from last season. Tampa beat the brakes off of them in Jason Kelsey's last game. I think Philly gets their revenge. I mean, Jalen Hurts, in my eyes, Eagles have a better quarterback. They have a better running back. Tampa technically has a better wide receiving core or wide receivers because Eagles are hurt. They have a better tight end. They have a better O line. Defense, on defense, Tampa probably has the edge there, but the Philadelphia defense played well last week. I mean, I gotta give it to Philly. Head coach, that's a push. Head coach is a push. I've never been a believer in Todd Bowles, but Sirianni kind of looked like a fraud last year when he lost his coordinators. But I'm gonna take the Eagles. Not gonna really think twice. This will be a toss up game in the averages and picks across the country. So I'm gonna take the Eagles. Washington, Arizona. The Commanders absolutely tore up my Bengals last week. Jaden Daniels had one of the historic rookie quarterback performances of all time. 91% completion percentage was absolutely amazing. Threw a few dimes, threw a dime to Terry McLaurin to put the dagger in us. Given the Bengals defense is garbage, given. But nonetheless, Jaden Daniels absolutely amazing. He the best rookie quarterback performance of the season of any of them through 3 weeks by far. On a short week though, in Arizona, in State Farm Stadium against Kyler Murray. I know everyone's gonna call me salty, and I'm salty because I'm picking against the Commanders, but I'm gonna pick against the Commanders in Arizona. Kyler Murray and the Cardinals coming off a loss. They want to get back to 500. I think this is a 300-yard, three-touchdown game for Kyler Murray. I think this is a good James Conner game. I think this is a good Michael Wilson game. I think this is a good game for the Cardinals, and I'm going to pick them to win at home. Next, oh, I gotta. Next, we have New England and San Fran. New England, they look bad. Obviously, they beat the Bengals. They beat the Bengals, but they don't look good. Brissett looked pretty bad last week. The offensive line compared to the 2020 Bengals offensive line, it's that bad. The Patriots offensive line's absolutely horrid. Nick Bosa, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, like those guys are gonna absolutely feast. Javon Hargrave is out for the season with a triceps injury. Niners dealing with some injuries. Debo Samuel's out, obviously still. Jawan Jennings was absolutely great last week. Christian McCaffrey's out. A lot of people are saying Christian McCaffrey's injury could be more serious than initially thought. Either way, I mean, at home, Niners are 1-2. They know they need it. There's no overthinking this one to me. I gotta take the Niners at home. They need it. Shanahan knows they need it. Purdy knows they need it. They got it. And then we got these two teams. This will be a close game. Don't sweat it. This will be a close game, even without Derwin James, who was suspended for a game because with the hit last week. Derwin James will not play in this game. Herbert is banged up. I expect Herbert to play anyway. But Herbert did say in a presser today that they discussed sitting him until the bye and resting him until the bye. But he said he doesn't think that's a possibility. I think Herbert plays. Joe Alt is injured, probably going to miss this week. Rashawn Slater is injured, potentially missing this week. I mean, these two teams play each other close. I have no doubt this will be a close game. This is an AFC West rivalry, hard nosed. These two teams play each other close every single time, and I think this will be a close game. But the Chargers are dealing with too much right now, even though it's in SoFi. The Chargers are dealing with too much right now. Derwin James out, offensive line injuries, Herbert banged up. For me, not to take the Chiefs, and I think the Chiefs go to 4-0, and they get it done yet again, and they beat the Chargers. And then we have the last 4 o'clock game. The Browns and the Raiders. The Browns offense looks absolutely horrible. The Raiders, a bad loss last week to Carolina. Deshaun Watson looks garbage. I know I probably say this every single week on this channel in Game Picks. I probably say it every single week. But Deshaun Watson looks horrible. Wyatt Teller, the Brown star guard, right guard, I believe he plays. I think Batonio plays left guard. Wyatt Teller out with an injury. He went to IR. He'll be out 4 games. Myles Garrett dealing with injuries on both feet. I think he practiced today in a limited capacity. I think, but he's probably gonna play. He's probably gonna tough it out. But even then, he's banged up. I don't see it in Allegiant Stadium. I think I'm gonna take the Raiders here. In Allegiant Stadium, I'm not gonna overthink it. Like, yeah, the Browns' offense looks bad, man. They look bad. The defense is still good. They still have a really solid defense. Don't even sweat it. They have a really good defense. But man, that defense looks bad. And I don't see them. I think the Raiders have a better team right now. They might even have a better quarterback. I think they get it done. And it looks like scary hours in Cleveland. And if this keeps up, Ken Dorsey was a horrible hire from the start, but I won't even get into that right now. Ken Dorsey was a terrible hire for them. If this keeps up, Stefanski, who knows what goes on with him? I know he was the defending coach of the year. I think DeMeco Ryan should have won the award last year, but Stefanski won it. Two-time coach of the year. But man, I don't know. I don't know what people in Cleveland think, but I think if Cleveland keeps on like this, Dorsey should be fired at the very minimum, and Stefanski might potentially should be on the hot seat. Sunday night football. We have a banger, an absolute banger. Bills, Ravens, Allen, Lamar, we're in for a treat. The Buffalo Bills are 3-0, and Josh Allen is playing like an MVP with the Baltimore Ravens, who almost choked last week to the Cowboys, with Lamar Jackson playing a good football game. Hopefully, I can get Mark Andrews some targets for my fantasy team this week, though. In Baltimore, Ravens fans knew going into the Cowboys game last week that they had to win the next two. They have a tough schedule. In M&T Bank Stadium, primetime game, the bank is going to be rocking. The Bills are 3-0. They're playing outstanding football, obviously. They beat the Jags last week, but this ain't the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is the Baltimore Ravens. It's a whole new animal. I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens at home. I think they knock off the Bills, and they knock off another undefeated team to get the win. It might be this, actually, yeah. So with that tally, Seattle's undefeated. Hold on, we gotta finish picks. Now I'll go over it with that tally. And then we start off another Monday Night Football doubleheader with a Monday Night Football rematch from last year. The Tennessee Titans and the Miami Dolphins. The Titans are 0-3. Brian Callahan is pissed. Will Levis looks bad. These in the Miami. Skylar Thompson dealing with injuries. Who knows if he goes? Tyler Huntley. Who knows if he starts? Could be Tyler Huntley's season. I know damn sure it ain't Tim Boyle season. Tim Boyle might be the worst QB to ever suit up. I don't even know how Tim Boyle's in the NFL. And this is another one I'll go over. So, here's the criteria. If Skylar Thompson suits up in a Miami Dolphins uniform on Monday Night Football and starts the game, I'm taking the Tennessee Titans. Skylar Thompson, I picked the Dolphins last week as an upset pick against Seattle. I watched them. They looked absolutely terrible. If Skylar Thompson's starting quarterback, I'm picking the Tennessee Titans. If Skylar Thompson's injured and Tyler Huntley suits up, I'm picking the Miami Dolphins at home. That's the criteria. But in this case, I expect Skylar Thompson to be able to suit up and play. I'm going to pick the Tennessee Titans on the road for the second year in a row on Monday Night Football against the Miami Dolphins. And that's a bad blow to the Miami Dolphins' playoff hopes. These are arguably the two worst teams in the league right now. Without Tua, the Dolphins, they're rough. They're rough. It's bad. It's bad over there. And we have a banger. The Seattle Seahawks and the Detroit Lions. If you remember these two always play a close game. Always a high scoring close game. Last year, Seattle got away with a win. These two always in a grudge match. High scoring, firepower, fantasy points, yards from the quarterbacks. These two always play like that. And if you've seen these two play before, it's always a treat. Seattle and Detroit. The reason why we're on Monday Night Football. And I'm going to take Detroit to knock off the undefeated Seahawks. So I think that's three undefeated teams that go down in this scenario. I think that's three that go down. I'm picking Detroit, all black uniforms, home Monday Night Football game. I think they get it done. I think they get it done. And I think this will be a really good game. These two always play close. If you watch these games in the past few years, it's been great. And I think Detroit, they see Minnesota undefeated, or not in this scenario, they wouldn't, but they see Minnesota undefeated right now. They see Green Bay playing well, even with Malik Willis at quarterback. And they know they need to keep up in this division. And I think Dan Campbell gets it done on Monday night, and they win. So in this scenario, let me just tally up with Green Bay winning, with Indianapolis winning, with Baltimore winning, and with Seattle winning. That leaves one undefeated team, and guess who it is? Patrick Mahomes. Again. Ugh, the Chiefs, man, they can't keep getting away with it. They can't keep getting away with it. And to tally up the picks, that's going to do it for the picks. Dallas, Atlanta, Cincinnati, Rams, Packers, Houston. Packers subject to change if Love doesn't suit up. Houston, Indy, Jets, Philly, Arizona, San Fran, KC, Las Vegas, Baltimore, Tennessee, and Detroit. My lock of the week and my upset of the week. Well, I guess what would be my upset? One undefeated team going now has to be my upset, right? Which one would it be? Would it be Pittsburgh? Would it be Baltimore? I'd say it's probably Indy over Pittsburgh. I didn't pick a really big upset this week. I mean, the biggest upset's probably the Rams or the Indianapolis Colts, who haven't looked up to par. So I'm going to say that my upset is probably the Colts in that scenario. Houston over Jacksonville, Indianapolis over Pittsburgh, and those are the game picks. Let's get right, people. Let's get right. We're 24 and 24. We got it done. In that, we'll go into the power rankings, and I'm going to display my power rankings going into week 4. And here are the power rankings. Chiefs stay at 1. They've been at 1 since week 1. Bills go up to 2. Vikings go up to 3. Those are 3 undefeated teams. Eagles go back up to number 4 with the good defensive performance against New Orleans. Lions jump back up to 5. Saints stay where they are despite the loss to Philly. I'm not going to bring them down yet, but with the loss to Atlanta, they will probably go down into the teens. Pittsburgh up to 7. I have to give them the respect they deserve. I think they're fraudulent 3-0, but I have to give them that respect. I have them at 7. Niners at 8 with the loss. Texans all the way down to 9 with the blowout with Minnesota. Seattle at 10, 3-0, but they've beat some pretty bad teams. I have to put them in the top 10, but I just can't side with them that much right now with wins over. I mean, Denver, New England, the Dolphins without Tua. Come on. Packers at 11 with Malik Willis. They look good. So I think with Love they'll be back in the top 10. Jets, Ravens back to 13. Bucks go down 10. Falcons at 15, only down 2 with the loss to Kansas City. Chargers at 16. I brought them down 7. I was never a believer in the Chargers even after the 2-0 start. I do not think they'll be a good football team this year. I think they'll be average. Rams at 17 plus 10 with a big win over San Fran. Cowboys down to 18, Colts at 19, Cardinals at 20, Bears at 21. Bears could be lower. The Bears offense does not look good right now. Shane Waldron looks like a really bad play caller, and the Bears don't look like a good team. Commanders, I have to put over my Bengals with the win. My Bengals down 6 after that terrible defensive performance. Lose to Carolina this week. We might be at 32, and I'm not even kidding. Broncos at 24, Giants at 25, Browns at 26. A lot of people put the Browns over my Bengals right now because they beat the Jags and they're 1-2. But the Browns realistically look worse than us right now. The offense looks horrible. Patriots at 27, Panthers 28, Raiders 29, Titans 30, Dolphins 31. Those two are matching up this week. And the Jags, who I'm extremely disappointed in, at 32. And I'm walking Houston over them in the week. So those are the power rankings. Some movement, not as much as last week. There was a lot of movement last week, not as much this week. I mean, double digit move where Philly plus 10, Packers plus 10, Bucks minus 10, and then Rams and Browns. Those are the double digit moves. But other than that, some pretty moderate moves. There's a lot of tilt games this week, like Detroit, Seattle. If Seattle pulls out a win there, they move into the top 5 immediately in my eyes. Baltimore could jump back in the top 10 with a win over Buffalo. I mean, Washington could jump into the teens with a win over Arizona, vice versa. With the Cardinals, they could jump up. Cincinnati could jump up a little bit with a win over Carolina. Um, what are some other ones? Some other big tilt games. Green Bay. Green Bay with a win over Minnesota jumps back into the top 10 immediately. I mean, Tampa with a win over Philly could jump back into the top 10. Atlanta could jump borderline top 10. So we'll see the movement. And yeah, those are the power rankings. So that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see y'all later. Hopefully the Bengals get a win. Hopefully I do well in my picks. Who day, all day. Have a good night.